I was gonna stop by and chat.
Is he doing any better?
No, I went down.
It's cheaper than us.
I sent him an email and told him he needed to start right away. It's like a stroke, basically. Just sit back after the next stroke. You're gonna get better.
Did they call an announcement for stroke?
Yes, so that's all stroke.
I just have a friend that just had that, and I've never heard of it myself. I'm a nurse.
Yeah, I feel better when
I've
I'm
never
not
heard of
taking
that.
medicines, but it's just, you know,
Especially for
14
strangulation.
hours.
For me, where's your work?
They were, I haven't worked in Indiana.
Okay.
Preventive
I
medicine.
retired when we
I'm
moved.
pretty sure I have one for it's
I had to do it for 40 years.
I do too. So where does he live?
Just over you.
Careful how you let that back down. Put it together.
He lives in New York?
Yeah,
Where at?
in Westchester County.
Oh.
It's off of Majority.
I mean,
and Somers, and there's a house. No. No, it's one of those freaking things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good thing you didn't have both of them, huh?
This is my first ops meeting ever. Oh, my goodness, it was raining out. All the years I came to.
Wow, look at you.
I'm putting in an ad, you guys are looking for more volunteers.
Hey, man,
I saw it laying around, so I made a copy.
trick or treat.
Stuck it
What?
behind.
What?
You know what?
Pick one of those, and we'll advertise one of those.
Which?
It'll probably expire before there's some of
Yeah,
those.
probably.
We was talking about the firefighter, we knew.
So did you hear it broken on the vertebrae?
If it
No.
looks like we got room.
How are you?
When's your ticket?
I'm gonna walk as long as I can.
Print it.
No, but I
I
mean,
need to send you our open house.
It hurts, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
They're gonna, I'm having a,
All kinds of
another
vendors
Keifel
gonna be
Fest
there.
Thursday.
Hopefully the public will come out just to have a fun
They
time
call
with
it
kids
Keifel
games.
Fest.
and-
You gotta get it in.
They go in and
I like it
Before
before
we
we
print Friday
I'll
morning.
send it to you tonight.
they put cement.
That makes sense.
Cement it together, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Other, because you know,
Is
it's
it
just
in the
like,
axle or do they actually
it's the
put it in?
whole thing. It's just
You
cracked.
guys still do it?
all
All
over.
right,
I saw that.
Wow.
So they go in and just,
No, it's.
otherwise it'll disintegrate. Then,
That's really.
then I'll
That's it right here.
We're over here in the closet now.
You're not gonna let that
More
happen.
right? Go for the
he's
427.
seeing me,
Yeah, go for the high
zipping
power.
around.
If you have a problem with that, get your friends together, we'll high power that sucker.
I need to email her or call her or something, because
We can do some
all
good
we did
stuff
was
on
see if we could
wheelchairs.
use the grass field next to the firehouse. You know, not down in.
So anyway, that's not exciting.
We're gonna have over.
Just found that out last week.
Wow. So how do you always just get up with different pain and then try to have an
I knew
X-ray?
some, I
The
did
other
some.
parts,
but
you need some blood.
And
You're
then,
probably not 3 years.
this is number 3.
You've got a good range.
But the regular, 9, 10, and 11.
Can the fire department possibly park in your grassy field just to the west by our mailbox for October 11th? We have an open house from 6 to 11, 6 to 9. With everybody.
You know where the
Smokehouse.
Know where what?
Because now you're starting.
Oh, the laser?
If it's muddy, we won't do it. Yeah, kind of like election day.
Oh, okay, yeah. When did Shannon have one?
And he's not that kind of person.
And the reason is, because it
Conservancy.
is a complication. And
What are you
you
talking
can't
about?
get to any of it. When you get on there with that.
But you know, you're
Oh, yeah,
like.
exactly.
We don't have another.
I don't have the contact information.
Right.
They're not out on the wall, track him down. I can just-
I mean, you gotta do it, but.
Right, but we had it for,
Well, the one I think you should.
They're right there in the back, you know, where your boathouse is. Park them there, bust them over.
I don't think you get something.
At the time they bought it,
There's some
I was on the A&E committee, and that's been
Catch my brain up with what's going on.
15
Use needles.
That's like me, I have a focus issue with my like a blunt one, so, you know, if I get, it's like squirrel. If I remember something, I have to say it now, 20 seconds from now.
It was just a little handheld.
What I hear is a lot of handheld things.
Put it up against that wall. And you tell us how many feet, how many inches of room.
You know, because when you work at
Yeah.
a you're responsible for the baby.
I do.
You got that at six.
So,
From yours?
I can't
No, it did.
remember.
It did.
30 years ago, I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Well, that's just it.
Well, I've received
Laser,
Yeah.
major distance that they could use from across the country.
Mm-hmm.
He said that we used to,
It's a laser tape measure.
it's a laser tape measure. Well, if it's, the only reason I'm calling you to see if it was in the shop. I've not ran across it here, but. Okay, okay, good enough. That's, I got it.
It was just about the same size as stuff.
He said we used to have one a long time ago, but he said.
I have 7 o'clock. We could stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody for coming. I think a month ago, our operations meeting included an open forum. This one will not. But here, hey, stay around, it's gonna be fun. First item on the agenda is Boy Scout Walking Trail Project. Ken, or me? I got it. James?
Yep.
You wanna tell us about it? We have a map showing where it's going.
Yeah, so about this time last year, I introduced it to you guys, and it has just taken a while to get like all planned out and everything. And I'm trying to make it as natural as possible. So I've gotten donated mulch, all natural mulch from Hendrix Power. And I'm just trying to keep it all as natural as possible. And when I came to you guys last year, I said that we were going to need 2 bridges built, but that was just because a tree had fallen in the path and was making a circle around. But that's all cleared out now. So again, making it as natural as possible, we can just take it right through there. So.
I think what happened, was talking about is the stream had split when we were looking at it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And again, it's still split. But what's happened in the year that's happened since is that the stream's kind of taken the natural bed again. And so now I think you can do
We can just go right through there, put some rock down.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So if that's a stream, is that rock that's going down going to divert the water to a different?
No, because it's not flowing there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's taking the rock that's in the stream bed. He's not like adding gravel or stuff like that. It's the
Yeah.
rock that's in the stream bed.
Okay. What about parking on either end of this trail for access?
Well,
Either
on
drive
the end on the court, there's already parking there. There's a little gravel road and gravel section there for parking. And this, I guess, isn't completely correct because it does go mostly to the road, but it doesn't go all the way because we don't want 4-wheelers or anything going through there. So it stops like right before the road.
Good job.
It's a pretty extreme drop.
Okay. Is it narrow enough so 4-wheelers can't get on it? Or
Yeah,
is it just like a
it's too narrow,
footpath, right?
yeah.
Like single lane
Mhm.
footpath?
It's probably about 3 or 4 feet wide.
Yeah, it's narrower than that.
Okay.
I mean, in the grassy areas, they could get there, but when they get to the
Right.
stream crossings.
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
not
you got
gonna-
that levee, that's where you're going, right on the top of it, and then, so yeah, they could, but we're gonna,
Yeah.
maybe we'll sign it to tell them to stay off, maybe that'll help.
Well, we could
If not, we'll
probably,
set some linemen, fines.
yeah, we could probably run some cables across the entrance to that.
Mhm.
Snackers, that works.
Are we going to be looking at limiting access to that trail to certain hours of the day or night if we put cable there? I mean, obviously people can walk around where that may be, but do we have any concerns at all about that?
They're basically,
There's a lot of places
no,
that can do that, I guess, but I just didn't know. Mine other in-laws, if we have any concerns about that.
That's the problem. If we set too many things, then basically they'll be open daylight hours. When you can see to walk, you can go there. When you can't see to walk, then
Go at your own risk.
go the other direction.
Is there
All right, any board,
any plans to include any kind of, fitness stops?
Not for mine, but another kid in our troop, he's thinking at this point, maybe putting some benches along the way once he considers doing his Eagle Scout project. But not really fitness stops, but just some rest areas and stuff like that.
Do you have a completion or completion date?
We've already started it, but this is just basically just an update. We start at the end and we're putting the mulch back, so we probably have like a fifth of it done, something like that.
okay. Board, have any other questions? We'll be on the agenda for the next board meeting, which is October the 8th, I believe. It'll be new business meeting. Thanks a lot, James. Appreciate it. If you want to leave, you're welcome to. Whatever.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is boat storage. I can't imagine that the board has any more questions about this, but if you do, now would be the time to ask. I'd like to get this on the agenda for item A next month, or October the 8th. So we'll vote on it. Anybody have any questions or concerns?
The only thing that was brought up, I think, at our open forum was, is there such a thing, or can we prepare such a thing as like what I would call a balance sheet? I mean, you've done a great job in identifying income, but offset by expenses, or isn't that practical?
Sure, I mean, it's practical. We can talk about the $2,000 again for the insurance, if you want. We can talk about the amount of electrical it's gonna run to run a light and maybe security camera. I did call Costco, we can get a security camera for $45. We can put all this stuff in I think I understand the question, and maybe I'm just taking some of this stuff for granted because I've done most of the work. There's not a whole lot of expense here. It's all money coming in.
Short of paying for the building.
Of course, yeah, that's already in there. I mean, you've all received the price of the building, the lot, the fence. It's a project that is $230,985, and then the breakdown of what we can expect as we move along. I really don't think your yearly expense, I think the motivation to bring that up was just the same motivation that some of the other questions were during that meeting, and that was just to poo-poo the idea because it's stupid and it won't work. Well, you gotta give me better reasons than that. It's not stupid and it will work. But I'm not here to say that we should agree with me. I'm just here to provide you with the information. It's probably one of the biggest money-making opportunities we've had out here, but it's long-term. It's not tomorrow. It's not going to be paid for tomorrow. And maybe there's other situations we should consider. Maybe we should wait until we get all the cash in our hand before we start this, by the people that are going to use it. It's 40 boats. Here are my notes from the last meeting. Everything that was asked in the last meeting, I made notes on that night when I got home. And these are about as ridiculous as some of the reasons not to do it. I'm not saying that there were some very good points brought up that night by one or two people. And I understand that they don't want it over there. And so to answer your question, Tom, simply, I can easily put together the expense sheet for this project.
Well, if nobody else on the board thinks knowing that information is important, I wouldn't ask you to go through that.
No, it's fine. And maybe it's pertinent, and I can do that before the next meeting, before the board meeting. and I'm not sure what's gonna happen at the board meetings.
I guess we.
I guess what I was prepared to do is ask the board members tonight, what did you hear of pertinent quality during those meetings?
I think the biggest concern that I heard from the residents are those that are gonna be most affected by its location. They're gonna be neighbors with the new boat storage building, and it's not just the building being there, but the additional traffic, dust, all the other noise, everything else that's gonna come along with the boats being moved in and out. Now, I know that that's gonna be during limited points in time, but it's still valid for the people that are gonna be living in it.
It's
That's my
limited,
biggest concern is
yeah,
those folks.
limited times, right.
Yeah.
Both seasons, limited time. The other thing, just to make you aware, it's 40 boats. We're not talking about a parade here. You know, we're not talking about all 40 boats going on that road at the same time so people can't come out of their houses.
I think the thing that I took away, I mean, just my personal takeaway from it was, there's a lot of people who are upset about multitudes of things that they feel we could better spend money on in their mind, because they see we're putting out 230, whatever the number is, with a return over the next X number of years until we actually put money back in the account. So they're just saying, why don't we fence off the 30 acres and put some sort of a fence with some sort of a card access system, or some cameras, or maybe spend that money repairing the road over there so it's not such a dust bowl.
We can't repair the road.
We can't, or we won't?
We can't. We don't own it.
We can't
It comes
repair
up every year.
Right.
That we should repair the roads. We don't own the roads.
Right.
Ken has done a tremendous job setting up Putnam County to help us with this concern, and we've probably had more done this year than we've ever had done in the last 10 years.
You're referring to the 5-year plan?
Yes,
Right? Yeah,
correct.
That's awesome.
And I think it's obvious if you drive around that it's happening now. But, and that's not the only thing that comes up that we can't do anything about. I understand, let's spend the money some other way. I guess my point here is that if we're gonna spend this money and we don't wait until we get all the cash from the people that are gonna buy these packages that I proposed, then it's a risk. And I have, maybe I've been too privy in taking risks before. This is, to me, the guy up on 36 just spent a whole lot of money thinking about boat storage. And he's in that business, period. That's the only business he's in. And we met with the gentleman who owns the Heritage Marina. We met with him on the very beginning of this process. And we had a long conversation with him. And he was okay with the fact that he was going to get competition. And his only comment to us was, I hope you can keep the price around what we charge. And that's what we did. And now he wants us to go in business with him. And that's a great idea for him. But as an association, we can't go in business with a private company. We take too big of a risk to do that. This all started so that we wouldn't spend our money on somebody else's property to make back a little bit of money. So, and I'm just giving you my side of this as far as facts.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Sure.
I'm just putting out a voice that's just.
That's
hey,
what we're supposed to do.
Because one of the other things that was proposed that I thought about was, I mean, how long is the waiting list for boat slips every year? Like how many people you think don't get a slip that want one that are on that list?
35, 40.
So I mean, if there was 35 or 40 more boat slips, if we built piers out and change the marina, change where the dock is, change the way the docks are. Get rid of the ones that are along the shore. Instead of having everybody lined up along the shore, you build piers out and you put 6s. You triple your boat rental there, and it's just docks that you have to take in and out.
You want to drop a proposal for that?
I mean, I can try, I'm
I'm
just,
just asking, I mean, you know.
I'm not a builder, I can ask around, I mean, the
So
same
when
kind
we
of
start
way.
talking about these projects and these ideas, somebody usually steps up. And
Well,
like
one of
Paul
the-
stepped up for the last one,
Sure.
or this one.
And I'm not saying in lieu of the boat storage do that, I'm just saying that we
Well-
have a waiting list of people we know are willing to pay the $300 some odd a year for that. Do we have the 40 already done, allocated, I'm ready to sign on the dotted line?
We have 20 right now, right? 21 or 2, I believe, that are willing to sign on the dotted line right now. We have 15 for sure, and
I'm
then
sure,
another.
oh, as far as the boat storage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Now, those are verbal commitments,
Right.
but, you know, in looking at the past, how many questionnaires have we put out there and gotten almost half of a positive reaction?
Right.
Right off the bat. That's before we even talk about what date we're gonna build it. And again, this is beyond the approval, there's a lot of work to do. Now, we do have a company that's willing to build it, and we get the rest of the stuff done relatively soon, within a year's time. But, and one other note, one of the things I wrote down after, I had a lot of thoughts that night, the next week, so on and so forth. But, you know, I want to hear what people have to say. I really do. I care what the community has to say. I'm part of this community too. That's why I ran for the board. And hopefully I'm giving you some information rather than, you know, just the fact that I got together with a bunch of people and we decided we didn't want it. Well, that's okay. It's going to be hidden. One of the things I wrote down was that I wanted to thank the board members present and past for all the things over the years that were ideas for the betterment of this community. And now that I know how hard it is to deal with this, I wanted to thank the board members that brought us that new pool, that brought us the boat slips, brought us the tennis courts, brought us the beaches, brought us the campground, all the things that were many more naysayers in those years. So I just want you to think about them. And of all those things I just suggested, not one of them is going to have the potential to make the money this thing's going to make. So,
I would just like to get it on the agenda so that we can act on it.
okay,
I think we've tabled it enough, month to month to month to month. We've been 6 months of this. If we haven't answered all the questions by now, or addressed all the issues, then I'm not so sure there is anything. So that's all I'm asking for, is to get put on the agenda and we can vote. We can vote to postpone it for a year, we can vote to do it now, we can vote whatever you want to do. I just want to make sure that the board has enough information now that they're ready to do that. Anybody object to putting it on the agenda?
I just have one more question. What are you doing with the feedback that you got? Are you gonna formulate answers to some of the points from the people that brought them to the board last meeting, or are we gonna have anything, just like a Q&A or FAQ or something that'll be visible?
I don't know specifically, just to use an example, one of the questions was, how in the world are you gonna get 40 boats in this building? This gentleman had a 37, with the tongue, he has a 37-foot boat. What's 80 divided by 2?
Wait a minute.
I mean, I don't know specifically what to answer. I think I guess what I heard was we ought to look for another location. Other than that, I didn't hear anything that would sway my decision. I didn't hear anything other than I should look for another location. They don't want it down on the south side of the lake. It's not gonna make any difference if it's on another part of the lake. It's not gonna cost them any money personally. So I don't know, what, is there a specific answer? I should be giving a specific question?
No, I was just asking, since we had this list of questions that we put together from last time, if there was any intention to do anything with it, other than just kind of, you heard it, you read it,
Mhm.
some thought, figured if there was any.
You mean like we're
way to
gonna
address-
post up like a,
And I think we've addressed every one of those issues, folks, for the last month and a half. We had that open forum at the ops meeting a month or two ago, whenever it was. And, you know, all those issues were addressed. Then we had the last board meeting, and we had questions, a lot of them the same questions. They were addressed. I don't know, I think it's just time for us to do something with this.
all right, put it on the agenda.
Okay, everybody's all right?
Would that be new
All right.
business? New business then?
New business act. Electronic voting, we voted last time,
I can't be at that meeting, by the way.
okay?
Just kidding.
I was gonna say.
Just kidding.
I don't blame you, but All right, electronic voting, we voted on it the last time, and it passed. Does anybody have any other questions or anything else? Otherwise, you can go on old business A. Any objections? Thank you. Childcare during board meetings, discussion. Chris?
I was approached by a member of the community, sometime after the last board meeting and now, and this person said they were really interested in being able to attend more board meetings, but she and a bunch of her friends have kids and it's difficult for them to attend. I know it's like a YouTube session, but it doesn't allow them the ability to participate in the open forum. So her suggestion was to, not necessarily for the board to provide daycare during a board meeting, but if she'd be allowed to take the lead on trying to get a babysitter or basically a babysitter, I guess, to watch their kids while they can attend the board meeting either downstairs or maybe the activity center or somewhere close, so it's easy for them to come and go and not have kids that need to be disrupted. So I said I would talk to you guys about it, to see if it's something that we think is worth pursuing. I was really encouraged that there's that much interest in actually coming to the meetings, because we have gotten a lot more people attending here and there. I mean, this is operations, so I won't count today maybe, but it seems like there is a lot more interest in hearing what's going on, especially with the boat storage facility. We've got a lot of people paying a little bit more attention than maybe they usually do. So that could start the ball rolling for a lot of other people to start being active and participating in these sessions, so they can actually hear what's going on, what's being said, instead of getting a second and third hand. So anyway, that's one hurdle that could happen.
My only question would be is how that will be participated with. You know, we've all had kids, usually 8:30, you're trying to get them to wind down and go to bed, and I just wonder how that would.
That's a good question, and I think, there's obviously questions that we would have. I can request that she attend that board meeting, and I know she's giving it some thought, and I'm sure she'd be willing to.
So the people that will bring their kids would pay for the babysitter?
Yeah, I would expect that. I wouldn't expect that there would be any cost to the POA to do that. They were just looking for a place to put them while they were trying.
So basically, we're talking about opening up downstairs to allow.
Is there liability with that?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I don't know.
I would think there would be some sort of liability. What if some kid falls down there and breaks his arm or whatever?
I don't think there would be any more liability than if they were at the chili cook-off and they had their kids down there, or the Easter egg hunt, or.
If it's
Well,
a
I don't
program,
know, I just,
Yeah.
if it's a program that we sponsor, our insurance should cover. So there we go. That's all.
okay.
It doesn't seem like the downstairs, being non-carpeted, if you're probably talking about those younger children,
Yeah.
and it's non-carpeted. I guess the only other thing is, it's really not outfitted for kid occupation from the standpoint of keeping them active. There's not.
Whereas maybe the activity center would be.
Well, the activity center is probably just as bad in terms of outfitted for younger children. Downstairs, I don't believe there are any carpets.
You know, but they've got games over there, and they've got mats, and they've got other stuff.
Well, the games possibly, or, you know.
It's an hour and a half,
TV.
it's an hour and a half, I mean, it's.
I mean, it's not getting
decent chunk of
entertainment for
time,
10 hours, so.
but- Yeah.
An hour and a half's enough.
I know, I got a 2.5-year-old, trust me.
Well, this should help you, AJ.
I know the exercise ladies, you could use that on Mondays also.
But either way,
Every night?
well, I guess we could just talk about it at the meeting. I mean, put it on the meeting, have her come and talk about it.
I could request Carrie come to the.
It's a
next
community
meeting. If we
thing,
wanna-
right? I mean,
If we wanna put it on the agenda, I can.
bring her
get her to
kid,
come and-
see how loud it is.
Everybody agree on the
She was willing
agenda?
to step up and help.
All right.
Was there
Maybe
more than one
business C,
person that's approached you?
As in?
No, but she said that she has
Children.
several friends that would have the same
Children.
interest, so. I think we can just hear them out. and see what they
Okay.
think.
Electronic gate, it has me listed, but I think it's Chris and AJ. We've got some stuff together for that.
Yeah, so I attended, well, Jeff Brooks brought up a really good point at the last board meeting when he talked about access in and out of the burn area. We know that there's been several incidents recently with inappropriate materials being dumped there, either by contractors, private residents, whatever, but it's getting to the point where we're really worried about potentially having it shut down because it's just not being monitored. It's hard to track who's going in and out of it.
Shut down or fined.
Yeah, yeah. So, I had a meeting, shortly after that discussion with the, cleanup committee. I attended their session and talked to Jeff Blades about it a little bit, and he has since given me the contact information of a guy who does that kind of work, installs those types of card readers. We were talking about potentially changing our POA cards to electronic card readers where you can monitor access in and out of doors or gates or whatever else. And even if we don't want to go that far initially, just having updated POA cards that are scannable, linked to member accounts, I think it'd be worth seeing what kind of technology is out there and taking use of what we could potentially improve here and make easier to track and everything else. So I've reached out a couple times to that person to give a presentation to this board so we can see whether or not it's something we want to pursue. I don't think he can make the October meeting, but I can arrange for him to come to whatever one we have, November potentially. Yeah. If you guys think it's something worth pursuing, and it doesn't have to be one person. I mean, if we have other companies out there, anybody else.
Well, I think, yeah, once we get some information, we'll probably need to go out there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
My question is, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but you can limit the facilities they go to, so this could be used for the dump pile or the brush pile, whatever you want to call it. And it could also be used for another specific purpose.
So you could turn on I mean,
Yeah, just checklist of things that gives access.
you could turn on access, you just make it, this is what I do. So you could make access groups that say, okay, you paid your pool dues, poof, we just add access to your, Deborah could be in there and just click on the
You could do
button.
10 different items and no problem, right? So
Change, you can make every single door it's open and say, okay, POA board members have access to swipe in and out of this building with our cards, where maybe other people don't or whatnot.
Okay,
But-
so this is going to be tabled until November?
I'll come back and let you know before the October board.
Right, yeah.
Whether.
We need to know before the October
Yep.
ops meeting is fine.
Do they do
Yep.
fences?
But it won't be on this
Person? They can do
But that's
fences.
what I'm trying to find out.
Okay.
Who put us in.
Okay.
If you got any-
Next on the, and I wanted to note that I added
Electronic stuff.
an item down at the bottom, it's called contractor at the Marina. If anybody's taking notes or wanting to worry about that. Bark Park. I'll take that.
Could also put the electronic thing in.
We've talked about Bark Parks out here for, I've been here 13 years, I've heard it every day I've been here, so, not every day, every week, whatever. There were a couple groups of folks trying to meet with this summer. One of them met with Ken and all of that, and since then, now they've merged into one group. And what I'm seeking is permission for the for the board's permission to work with this group and can and bring back a proposal for a bark park. It would be a self-sufficient. It will be, you know, a user pay fee. The nice thing about the electronic gates, those things could be used for that, and that's less expensive. At this point, our estimate is somewhere less than $10,000, maybe closer to $8,000. I believe that this group that has formed is willing to raise some money for this, to get some skin in the game. We may have to help out on, I'm just throwing numbers out here, folks. We haven't really met yet, so I'm thinking 50-50 type thing, but then we would start getting revenue back in to help pay for this thing.
Would this group own the bark park then?
No, they wouldn't own it.
And what would be their incentive to give us money then?
Well, they get the money off the registrations.
They get the money off the registration?
No, we would.
I thought you
It's
said
on our
they-
facility, it's a user pay thing.
I thought you said it was 50-50.
I said the $10,000, we may have to go 50-50 with them.
Who's they?
This group is raising money for
But
a
they
park.
have no interest in us, but they want to give us money.
Well, they're gonna raise.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay, they want to build a bark park on our property.
Okay.
Okay, they want us to help build that bark park, probably.
But they're not private enterprise that's going to profit on our dues.
No, it's members.
It's members.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
No, then we would charge a fee to
Okay.
that, and then that would pay back we're gonna charge a fee for the bark park.
Okay.
It's kind of like
Minimal.
boat storage for dogs. It's like boat storage for dogs.
Actually, bark
Yeah,
parks, hey, if you go downtown and you look at
Boat stickers.
rental places, bark park is prominent.
Just kidding.
Well, I can tell you.
No, they want it.
I was at Eagle Creek, and when I was there, the fee was $25. Now it's $75 for the first dog, and $37.50 for every dog after that you own, and they have 1,000 dogs.
This is better than the slips. Well, hey, you need to table your thing, man. This is.
This is the gold mine right
Now,
here.
wait a
Hey,
minute,
and then we need to stop
we don't have 1,000 people
spaying
here.
and neutering.
Build them up.
Okay, but anyway.
How big are they proposing this thing to be? Or should we wait for?
Can we
Let's
add,
wait until we get a proposal together. We're talking numbers, but
All right, let's put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
I just want the agenda to give us approval, Ken and I approval, to work with this group.
Amenities.
And bring back a proposal.
It's amenities, right? I mean, it's just
If
adding another
if I could
thing.
bring
It's
something.
another, yeah.
If I could bring something up. Patty back in the back, she's one of them that is willing to, that I've met with, and she's willing to work with us on it. Cindy, didn't you already raise some money?
We
Saturday?
raised $1,200 this weekend at the 5K and had 32 dogs. And that was just throwing something together.
So we already got $1,200.
And we haven't even got the thing approved. That's awesome.
That's the way Jim likes to make money.
Okay,
Unallocated.
all right.
Absolutely.
So that's going on as new business D,
Okay,
all right?
I like it.
that's a good one.
It gets better.
Let's say we can use it.
Maybe it does.
Servants
I don't
and
know.
properties right
Depends on
there.
your frame of mind. Budget meeting, you just really want to establish a meeting date to
Yeah,
review the
just,
budget.
yeah, to give me a chance to kind of get this together and have are you wanting it done before the, board meeting on the 8th?
Well, we have to vote on it twice, and it has to be done by the end of the year. So we have December, November. If we want to chance it, we can wait until November to bring it up. You know, we haven't had major problems in the past, but I don't know. Or we could get an extra month in there to play with. Or we could call a special meeting, so, and there's all sorts of options here. I don't think I mean, the October the 8th meeting is coming up really quick.
It really is.
So it seems like
You know,
it's.
Charlie, last year we did the pizza and whatever.
activities.
And I think we can knock
We got a
this,
lot done.
we can knock it out really fast.
Okay, so you want to try to meet between now and the 8th?
I would like to.
And is that agreeable with everybody? And let's pick a date and. see what
Before
we
that
can do.
meeting, would we get a rough draft or?
Before the meeting?
Oh, right, Tom, you know the format that it
No.
comes in where it shows?
You can't see it until after you sign it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it shows the
Just
format,
wondering.
shows the format of current and projected.
I don't watch it too much
And then we
TV.
make the decision on the budget for next year.
That's what I'm saying, a draft.
Yeah, you'll have your YTD on close of September.
Okay, so we're looking,
So this week and next week.
If we could shoot for the 4th, that'd be a Thursday.
October the 4th, Thursday night,
What's that look like?
Thursday night, October the 4th.
Works for me.
Does that work?
Lock
What
it in
time?
right now, quick.
Jeez, that's my bridge night.
4-0.
What time?
A&E committee meeting that night.
Whatever you,
6:30, we'll have pizza. That's our only
Paul just
compensation all years, folks, sorry.
Paul just identified he's, A&E meeting at 7 o'clock, so.
Ah, then we probably ought to go at, not Thursday.
We're gonna cancel this for the A&E. Oh, he's gotta be at A&E, okay.
well, you don't have to.
Well,
Jesus.
He should be.
Dedicated.
I'm
He's
not
dedicated.
How about that Wednesday?
How
You're ready to go on that
Wednesday
day?
Wednesd's good.
All right.
Wednesday,
Fourth.
the third?
Wednesday the 3rd.
Wait a minute.
Chris is gonna be at
October 4th?
HLAC.
Oh, that's when I'm leaving.
What are you gonna be at?
At 2,
Heritage Lake Emergency Preparedness Team.
Oh,
Well, don't start backing it up, because I gotta get it done, so.
So tomorrow, give me tomorrow real quick.
Tomorrow morning,
I
7,
can,
we're
I
doing
can
for
copy and
breakfast.
paste really.
7 a.m.
Third doesn't work for me.
Not good. The 3rd doesn't work?
Not for me, it doesn't.
All right. We gotta pick a date here, folks.
Tuesday?
Can we go earlier than 6?
How about
I know
Tuesday?
most of us can, a couple of you guys, 3 of you work.
Anything before the 4th is bad for me. I mean, you guys,
And do the 5th, Friday night,
My grandson's got this.
pizza?
Yeah, Friday night would be good.
I got a 5 o'clock mediation in Indy.
Saturday.
you know, just Saturday afternoon. Is that-
What about the 4th?
Well, if we can bang it out and get all the things worked out, we could,
What about the 4th if we met before the A&E?
yeah, 5?
Can we do that?
I got a date here. I got my kid that day. I can bring her, but you ain't gonna wanna try to wrangle a 2.5-year-old looking at budget numbers.
How old is she?
2.5.
Oh. I was gonna say we have a TV over there, we can entertain her with a movie or something. That may be too
Got
bad.
Thomas the Train? The 1st,
What day?
Monday? That's cutting, pretty tight.
That's horrible for me.
Okay,
Well, if you can do it on the 4th, and I'm the only one that can't make it, I mean, don't screw up the whole budget process just because I can't be there. I can phone in or something.
You
Right.
could call in.
if we can get you
I mean, I
the,
have 2 cell phones, so yeah, I can probably make that work.
we can,
Just put me
try to
on
get you a
speaker.
draft the day before.
Don't send it
the
to Thurman,
3rd,
just to me. I just
Right.
want the draft.
rough draft and the 3rd, and then any questions you have, you can
Yeah, that's
find
fine.
out. Plus, we're gonna vote on it again at the board meeting. This will
Yeah.
give us 3 votes, so we'll be, all right, so we're on the
Do
4th
that.
again?
4:30?
That's fine, I mean, I can.
Can we get out that early?
I can do 4
See, I gotta wake up.
What day of the
now.
week are we
Grant?
at?
4:30.
I work till 5, so still
Sometimes you're pretty.
5:30?
Well,
I mean,
Give us an hour.
I get off at 5 and I only work about 10 minutes away, so.
We could-
5:30?
we could-
5:15.
We could eat until then.
5:15?
5:15?
5:15?
That work, Grant?
Yeah, I think, so far it works.
Okay, 5:15 on the 4th.
I haven't thought past this weekend, so.
All right,
I'll let him be at.
and then we'll put that on the
How
agenda
long
for,
does a
No
budget
anchovies.
meeting usually take?
yeah, no anchovies.
That first one last year was,
2 hours.
Oh, it's tops.
yeah, that was tough. We
Yeah.
asked more.
It just seemed like it was.
It did seem like it.
All right. Anything else? On that one, it's October the 5th, they're gonna put it on the agenda for new business E.
October 4th.
4th, that's what I meant. 5:15. Want to give you a little update on the Clear Creek Conservancy properties. Y'all gave me the opportunity to work with these folks. I have a sheet here that outlines basically everything. I will say that they were, we walked in there wanting 24 pieces of property. We walked out of there getting 130. So, needless to say, I was very pleased with that. And the Conservancy also provided approved a motion to stop all sales, except for those people that have adjoining properties, and then they have 4 or 5 pending. Now, the 130 lots or so, we're not sure that that's the exact number. It depends on how many adjoining lots there are, and it depends on how many they have pending, but they got 4 or 5 pending they keep in place. And so I don't have a whole list of everything we've got, but it's somewhere between 125 and 130 lots. At the present time, Kathy is writing up an addendum to the lake agreement that we have. And we've agreed that we can, again, they're just giving them to us. So there's no cost. There's 2 options right now, and we'll discuss those at the board meeting. I'll talk about them in just a second. I don't even know where I was now. So anyway, Kathy's writing up an addendum to the existing contract, which we will take back to the board. And basically it'll say that they're not selling anymore, except for adjacent homeowners and those pending. And those adjacent homeowners will have a time period. I don't know that that's decided yet. We talked like 6 months, maybe 3 months, who knows. But that's all to be negotiated right now, that they will give those folks 3 to 6 months. If they don't want the property, then it comes to us. We need to obviously get that approved by our attorney. And Ken and I are going to try to meet with him between now and soon. November, actually. This thing is not going to get done in October. There's a couple options. One is that we go with the lake agreement. Attaching it to that, that means we would have the property. Oh, the other, on the lake agreement. If we build a structure there, obviously if we build a restroom and hook up to sewers, we do have to pay the sewer hookup fee.
How much is that anyway?
How much is the hookup fee? I think it's 1,300.
Pardon?
How much is
Sewer
it for a
hookup fee?
hookup fee?
The hookup, I think it's $14.50 now. I pay.
$14.50. That's if we want to put a restaurant on the air. Restroom? Slip of the tongue. I'm not talking about the Marina yet. That was a joke. I know.
It's no joke.
I know. The other option is that we convert these properties. We take the properties. Again, it's no cost. And we would convert these 130 properties to common property. And that cost us about $35 a lot. $4,000, $3,500, $4,000. We don't pay taxes on that, do we? We don't pay taxes on it. We're not gonna pay taxes on it if they keep it. Okay. Okay. The only advantage that I see of going that route is that we may be able to take those off the total numbers. Instead of 2986, we may have 2856 lots.
Oh, because the lots would become POA property. And
They would become common property, and obviously they can't be sold if they're common property. But these are all going to be addressed with the attorney to see where we are on those 2 proposals. But that's probably, looks like one of those 2 things is going to be our program in November, so. Our proposals brought back to November.
That could be 2 stages though, couldn't it?
I'm sorry?
We could take property and then later convert them to common.
Yeah, possibly. The process there is that, help me out, Tom, let's see. We have to approve that we want, this board has to approve it that they go to common property. We take those minutes to the recorders. I have to do that before April of the year. They meet once a year. We don't know when they meet yet. They don't know when they meet yet. And then they either approve or disapprove, and then it happens. All the title searches have been done on these 130 properties.
So they're just gonna give them to us?
Yeah.
Just, here you go.
Yeah.
You win the lottery.
Big advantages are, obviously, it takes it off the market, so we have 130 less homes. Okay, not all of them are gonna be buildable, so maybe 90 less homes. And is Kim smiling about it? That's probably what, 110 votes with 90 homes less that would be on the lake. So anyway, I want to put this on for, well, at this point, let's just table it. I mean, I don't want to table it, I just want to bring you up to date on it. And when we get a proposal together and talk to the attorney and see where we are, we'll come back with a proposal on that.
I've requested that we meet sometime next week. He hasn't got back with me yet.
Okay. My only day is second. The doctor's appointment.
Do we need a full 2 votes and everything to move forward on this if we did wanna do that?
No, I think, well,
We don't have to.
yeah, but
move
we
forward in
wait till we
January.
get the proposal, then we'll vote on the proposal. If we want to vote on that twice, just to cover ourselves.
Okay.
But it is no expensive money. I guess that's the biggest deal, unless we decide to go to common. And again, the only reason I can think of going to the common would be to reduce the number of total votes.
And as Jim.
I don't even know that that can happen.
And as Jim points out, it could be a 2-step process. You know, step number 1, we lease them on the same agreement that the lake maintenance lease is on.
Right.
And then step number 2, if for some reason we decide to do something with the property that we would have to invest money in, at that point, we could always turn those properties, not all of them, but just those, into common property.
Right.
Like the Bark Park or something like that.
Something
That'd
like that.
be,
Well,
it'd be
yeah,
common.
It's possible.
That would be a good.
The other-
Have an expense, we don't have to buy a lot to put it on.
I'm curious about one thing. As I read this, beginning with the 3rd bullet alignment, it seems that they are hot to trot to get rid of these properties. So what's the deal? How come we got a board member?
Well, the reason is they have recovered. You know, they were losing money over no sewer payments and all of that. They have recovered all of that money. I believe they also realized that these things are building up pretty quick. And, you know, it doesn't take too much to realize, you know, we're getting 10, 15, 20 homes this year. And I think that made them a little nervous, and this is a good out for them. It's not their property anyway. You know,
By good out, you mean to reduce pressure on
On
our
them.
trash system and our waste sewage system? Is that what you mean by?
Yeah, a good out, and a
out?
good out for them to talk to people that want to buy property and say, we don't have it anymore.
To my knowledge, I think she's already sent that message out to the contractors that they're not,
We don't want anymore.
because they've already called the office.
Right. Dwayne, is there anything else?
Is there anything else, Dwayne?
I just want to say, I think that you're talking about leasing them till you can do something else, if that came up. I don't believe that the present board at the Conservancy, we're not in any hurry. They're sitting there, they're not costing us anything. And I think right now, they've been taken off the market, except I think there's 4 right now that people had already contacted and were possibly in the process of buying. So we said it's not fair to those people to take them off, let them have them. And then contact each adjacent property owner that has a piece of property or a house and say, you know, this is your last shot. If you don't want this lot to become something else, you better buy it. We think it's only fair to give those adjacent property owners a chance at it. So I would say the board's thought at this point in time, you guys were there, is that just take your time and get your feet on the ground, because we're not gonna do anything with them.
Right.
They're suspended, they're off the market at this point in time, and unless something drastic happens and the board finds out that they can't do this for some reason, way, and I think it can be done, it's just it may, you know, if you get the court involved, it may draw out, they're not real quick, it don't seem like, but you know, as far as saying, you know, lease them from us till you can get something done, I don't think that's necessary. I think it's just, you guys go ahead and do whatever you need to do legally and for the property owners, and we'll just sit there, because, like I say, we bought 206 lots. At this point in time, we've sold 64. We've got our money back, plus almost our money back the second time.
Good.
So we've got, that would leave 142 lots, the 23 that we had already been holding for the POA had been off the market anyway. So that would drop it down to 119. So right now, the way the figure's set right now, if everything was stable like it is right now, we'd be talking about 142 lots. It probably won't be that many, because there'll be some adjacent property owners that will take them, and the people that have already contacted Kathy, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, those lots may be gone. So as Charlie said, you're talking 135 lots, 130 lots, something like that. But I don't think there's any need to do anything, but you guys proceed on with whatever you have to do legally, because the Conservancy at this point in time has, and it was a unanimous decision of the board, we took them all off the market as of last Thursday, because we've got contractors that are buying them 4, 5, or 6 at a time, and so I don't think there's anything to worry about. Whenever you guys get your feet on the ground, the lots will still be in
together.
I'm just
And the
curious
term
about
lease
this.
is probably not the right thing. We would add it to the agreement that we have for the lake bottom. And in that, if we're gonna build anything, it takes our board approval and their board approval to allow it to happen. So I don't think we need to worry about converting this lot or that lot over to common property if we decide to go that route, unless we decide the common property is the only way we wanna go with it.
I'm just wondering about bullet 4. Everybody read that.
Oh my God, what did I write wrong now?
No, CC had a problem with this delay and suggested that they write a draft addendum to the exiting agreement.
I don't think,
Is that because of the fear of people taking advantage of the situation and buying more lots? Is that why?
I didn't catch what you said.
I'm just
And I don't have a
Yes, it
copy
is.
of whatever you're reading.
It says that they didn't want to delay it, they wanted to go ahead and propose to proceed, and they did. They made the motion, they took them off the lot, off the market, except those that are pending and those that are to adjacent owners at this point.
Right, but that's just to stop speculation.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yeah, and they stopped it immediately, they didn't give a 30-day notice for builders to come in and buy 5 or 6 lots. It's pretty easy for the convenience, it's pretty convenient for the builders. And a one-stop shop, you know, you can go in and get 10 lots, you maybe spend a couple $1,000s more, but you're not running all over the place to do it, so now.
Charlie, what's the position of the Conservancy in the future if they have more sheriff and commissioner sales had come up for lots.
I have no idea.
I mean, are they still gonna go ahead and continue the program that's doing? You didn't discuss.
Do you think they're gonna plan on buying more commissioners?
Well, there could be more lots that could go into default.
I can't see into the future. We have not talked about buying any more. We were buying them at the commissioner's price, which originally started out at $25 a lot.
Yeah.
Then when we started buying so many of them, they raised it to 50. And I don't think that we'll ever get a chance at another one, because if these lots stay off the market, every contractor wants out here will be at the commissioner's sale bidding on a lot.
Yeah.
So that,
And
they're
those
gonna
lots
buy
end
them
up
off a
costing-
private individual, or they're gonna buy them at a
And
commissioner's.
those lots end up costing about $700 or $800
Okay.
because of the title search and all
Yeah.
the legal stuff you have to do.
Right.
So, and if we wanted to, we could go to the commissioner's sale and buy
Sure.
more lots.
That may not be better.
But when we bring the proposal, we'll also bring the list of lots that we're talking about as potential and all of that, so you'll get a comprehensive program on what we're gonna do. And like Dwayne says, there's no big rush, except we kinda just wanna get on the move with it. All right, so that's an update. All right, next item on the agenda is Marina contractor. At this point, the design build packets went out to the 5 builders. First of the month, actually it was September 4th, I believe, day after Labor Day, whatever that day was. And they have until the 28th to turn them back in. After the 28th, they will be reviewed, and we'll probably bring the top 1 or 2 here. I mean, depends on how good number 1 is and how close number 2 is. And we'll bring it to the board, and we think we can get that done between the 28th and October the 8th. So we'll put that on the agenda as new business F, and we will select our contractor for the Marina. Okay, anybody have any questions on that? Any concerns about putting it on the agenda? Thank you.
So if that is F, the Conservancy properties will be E?
No, the Conservancy properties won't be on the next board. That was just discussion. We already have approval to talk to them.
So then the contractor, the Marina contractor will be E.
Budget's E. Right?
I'm gonna rewatch the video.
You're right.
Budget's E, contractors F. All right, anybody have anything else for the betterment of the group? Take a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay. It's over.
It's on the agenda.
Still executive.
Is there an executive?
No, ma'am, not that I know of. Jim, you have anything? And then we